Time to spotlight AI and innovation and which stocks are really paving the way. You may have just seen NVIDIA not long ago with the 700 number. Now it's 900, and everybody's talking 1100. Ryan Patel is with us, Global Business Executive, Board Director at Drucker School of Management, Claremont Graduate University. And you're going to tell us about this, but that's not necessarily the only one that's great. You have a lot to tell us. What's the big picture? Is the AI craze real? What's the future of AI?
Yeah, I think the AI craze is real. More importantly, we don't know what the valuation is, right? When you think about it, and you think about the semiconductors of NVIDIA, of AMD, Intel, and others, they need processing power when it comes to AI. And these companies, when you think about hardware sector is now sexy again versus software, but where software has always been the leading.
Right. And you think that AMD, I don't know if you think AMD is better than NVIDIA or just like the forgotten one?
I think AMD and NVIDIA are, obviously NVIDIA's getting the spotlight. I think you need competition and AMD is it. I think AMD CEO Lisa Su, their leadership team care about product. And I think they're really the biggest competitor to NVIDIA. I also think that what is overlooked by AMD is that they are actually diversifying in the entertainment sector. Think about your favorite movies, Avatar 2, Elemental, they won Oscars. AMD has that entertainment sector down, and they are leading in that category. And so I think that when you see good competition, I think you're going to see AMD kind of continue to rise and have a great long-term strategy with that leadership team.
April has been a volatile month for AMD stock for a variety of different reasons that include an uncertain economic outlook that dragged down the entire semiconductor chip sector. In particular, AMD stock is down by around 10% over the past month. Then, AMD reported its 2024 Q1 earnings, and even though the company managed to beat Wall Street's estimates and raise the full year's guidance, the stock still dipped as the company's Q2 guidance disappointed investors. However, bucking the recent volatility, AMD stock found an upbeat advocate this week as DZ Bank lifted its rating to buy from hold. Not only that, but the German bank set a $190 price target, seeing an opportunity for a 23% upside from where the stock is trading as of the time of this video. So, why is DZ Bank now bullish on AMD even though they downgraded the stock to hold from buy back in March? Let's find out. But before we do that, if you want to keep up with AMD's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market, so click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates. Now, back to today's video.
So it's at 157. 1 year, it's up 75% basically.
That's it.
yeah, it's unbelievable, right? When you think about it, it's just, I could say it again, up 75% in 1 year. And the high was 227. It's at 156. Does it go back to some of those highs?
I think, we're seeing some market sensitivity of pressures of people looking at AMD. I think it does over a long-term period of time. I think the problem that I have with maybe not analysts, but Joe's looking at some of these companies, what are they really evaluating it at, right? Because they don't know what the top side is. If we're looking at NVIDIA, what are you evaluating NVIDIA compared to AMD? Is there that much of a gap between the two companies? And I think there's a lot of opportunity for companies like AMD and others, when you think of Intel and Qualcomm and those others in the sector, there's plenty of opportunities in the space.
It's not just DZ Bank analysts that are turning to AMD's side now. In fact, analysts at Melius Research said that while NVIDIA is the dominant provider of chips to train AI systems, and that's not likely to change anytime soon, AMD could greatly benefit from the shift from training toward inference, which is the process of generating answers or results from AI models. Melius Research analyst Ben Reitzes also said that the increased capex at the big cloud companies should benefit AMD as well, as Microsoft and Meta place orders for inferencing workloads in particular. In response to the dip AMD stock saw after earnings, Reitzes argued that any caution looked to be down to capacity constraints, which will be alleviated in the second half of the year, as opposed to a lack of demand. Notably, he has a buy rating on AMD stock, while his target price of $210 for AMD indicates a possible gain of 37%. Also, analysts at Citi, who recently maintained their buy rating on AMD stock, said that AMD as well as ARM have both gained market share over Intel in the first quarter, and according to that data, AMD's overall market share for MPUs grew by 20 basis points quarter over quarter, rising from 18.4% in the Q4 2023 to 18.6% in the Q1 2024, driven by gains in server and desktop CPU shares. AMD CEO Lisa Su expressed optimism about the company's opportunities in artificial intelligence in the company's Q1 earnings call, and this is one of the main reasons why analysts are bullish on AMD. Overall, AMD delivered solid first quarter results and saw robust growth in key business segments like data centers and appeared well positioned to capitalize on growing AI compute workloads. So let's get into this in more detail and determine if AMD stock is a buy or sell at its current price. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Investocracy.
So expand on that for me. What are those slowdown indicators that you're looking out for?
The yield curve inversion, that is an indicator which we used to talk about a lot 18 months ago. It continues to point to some difficulties. So within that mind frame, a cautious approach, high quality stocks, we do see still a lot of opportunities in the market. Energy stocks are in particular very cheap. They are a good hedge against inflation, against geopolitical risk. We like also semiconductor, the whole sort of value chain from chip designers to foundry to equipment manufacturers. We think there are a lot of opportunities there, as well as industrial companies which benefit from some of the mega trends that we are seeing, such as digitization and electrification, perhaps even defense.
NVIDIA is up 215%. Why is that?
Well, because they've been working on it for 4, 5, 6 years. This is not new news for them. Now that technology's caught up to be able to use the processing power, and they need it. So they're there. And the need for these chips are even at its highest that it was, at highest as it can be. And we're not even close yet to the capacity of the use of it. And if you think of even Intel, for example, they were at the top for a very long time. And you see the stock price where it is now. It is not where those two companies are. And Pat, the CEO, has said he needs to make Intel cool. You see a lot of the foundry business that they've continued to do and need to diversify their portfolio.
Although AMD stock has seen some turbulence and volatility in recent months amid broader market swings, the company has delivered strong returns of over 50% in the last year, significantly outpacing the wider semiconductor sector. There's also strong demand for the company's new chips, and they actually have the potential to compete with NVIDIA's flagship H100, as demonstrated by the two companies' customers. In fact, during the latest conference call with investors, CEO Lisa Su said more than 100 enterprise and AI customers were already deploying AMD's MI300X, including some of NVIDIA's most prized customers like Microsoft, Meta Platforms, and Oracle. She also said many MI300X customers were seeing superior performance compared to their H100 installations, and although NVIDIA is already preparing to launch its new, more advanced Blackwell GPUs, this is a great starting point for AMD to build upon. In my opinion, AMD stock dropping so much after the company reported earnings was a massive overreaction from investors. Even if Q2 guidance was disappointing, AMD still demonstrated excellence in a couple of key areas. For instance, the company's Q1 data center segment revenue grew 80% year over year to $2.3 billion, while its client segment revenue increased 85% year over year to $1.4 billion. And while AMD is chasing NVIDIA in the data center sector, it appears to have an early lead in AI's next frontier. This is because AMD's Ryzen AI chips are the top choice for leading desktop and notebook manufacturers like Asus, Acer, Dell, and HP. In fact, in the previous quarter, AMD told investors that it had a market share of around 90% in this segment, with millions of computers having already shipped with Ryzen AI chips. So, with game-changing chip designs challenging industry leaders and taking market share, AMD's future looks bright. Not only that, but they are also aggressively expanding into high-growth segments like data centers and AI PCs. Of course, competition remains fierce and global headwinds could impact growth. But AMD has proven resilient and adaptable over decades of battling tech giants. If you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
Look, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, of course, have all made commitments to invest in AI infrastructure. So NVIDIA, is not the only one making its own AI chips anymore, right? What about some of those names I just mentioned, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta?
I mean, all three of them are killing it, but I think Microsoft is, when I think of AI PCs, when I think about, which includes the hardware, this time next year, we're going to see that on all our computers, and Microsoft and their software is going to have an integration of that for people to use. And so I think when you think of these investments that these companies made, Nicole, they didn't make it just right now. They made it years ago at a high number. I remember paying billions of dollars for this technology because they knew that it was the ROI for them in the future was going to hit. Maybe not that time, but now we're seeing it's being very valuable.
This happens a lot in the stock market, and many people miss out because they followed the crowd's first reaction, which is sometimes the wrong one. Meaning, if some short-term stock traders reacted negatively to AMD's quarterly news release, this doesn't mean we, as long-term investors, have to follow their lead. You should really think for yourself and stay calm when AMD stock wobbles and wavers sometimes. After all, AMD is still a solid AI hardware business that's growing rapidly in key areas. Also, competition from other companies in the market, like NVIDIA and Intel, is actually a good thing because it drives fierce innovation from all market players, and while NVIDIA currently maintains advantage, AMD's savvy strategies and engineering ethos make them a formidable contender in the AI chip race going forward. So, for investors with patience and an appetite for risk, AMD remains a compelling bet on the future of computing. The coming years will surely hold great surprises, successes, and stumbles along AMD's journey. But one thing is certain, this determined company has the potential to become a much larger company in the future. But what do you think? What are your expectations for AMD? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. If you would like to know more latest updates about AMD and what they have been up to, then go ahead and click on the next video on your screen.